Start.
Search together. IPSA. We're not just a name in a directory. Local minds with national synergy.
Welcome or bienvenue. Welcome to the slightly later starting of IPSA Kind of Magic, this show that talks about all things independent search agency related, particularly IPSA, because that's the association thereof, of which Hamish is the current chairman. Sharon, recent member, but has been associated through another organ for quite a number of years, so knows the ground only too well. Pleased to say, I know Hamish and Sharon personally, and I think that IPSA is the kind of organisation you want to be part of if you work as a part of a cooperative. In other words, you're working with each other towards the better ends. Now, that kind of brings us towards today's topic. Today's topic is partnerships with purpose. And as ever, to start us off, Hamish McClay.
Well, I love your sort of obviously sort of gentlemanly education there to be able to say cooperative as opposed to cooperative. I mean, it's been cooperative in the UK for a number of years, Gareth. If you want to sort of get your fancy with your French, okay, we'll let you do that. IPSA itself has been and started off as a cooperative. As we know, I mean, Jackie, who actually advises us now, she was a founder member, along with sort of 2 or 3 other people, because they found that, hey, hang on, why are we all going to these different councils when we know each other, we trust each other? Why don't you go to that council because they're close to you? You go to that council. So that's the way it started off. So it became just a sort of a friend sort of type of sort of thing. And then eventually it became a network which covered the whole of the well, it's not exactly the United Kingdom, but it does actually cover number 10 North.
Most of the United Kingdom?
Well, it covers number 10 North anyway, but it also includes England and Wales. So the great thing is we've got a couple of tremendous, I don't know quite how many Welsh colleagues we have, but the beauty of it is now it's all worked out. So it doesn't matter which of the councils is in England or Wales, that we have somebody who is local to that particular council. Now, the interesting thing is, and probably because Sharon just had a quiet shift, a small shift in terms of where she's actually fully operating, she's moved a little bit further north of London. So she had an interesting journey, actually, which probably reflects what the partnership is and how good it is, because she, in actual fact, has having known so much about all the London sort of councils, has now actually sort of she can tell us the regions, but with her insight property search, she's actually sort of moved. I was going to say moved up in the world, moved north in the world, nearer to Andy, nearer to wondrous Andy. But what we have, if you like, the core, the original core, which started off with just that 3 or 4 people, then it expanded. And then, of course, what's actually sort of happened, we've received the support of so many other people through a period of time who've actually sponsored us, worked with us. And in fact, the ones which is really, really good now, we've got more people actually sort of working with us who are not actually directly IPSA members, in that they don't just produce local authority searches or drainage and water searches. They do various other things. There's things like the insurance. We've got the tremendous support from there. We've got the tremendous support as well from the environmental searches. So the partnership is much, much more than just our original cooperative. And this is where the purpose comes in, because if these particular new colleagues that we actually have, and they have increased recently as well, if they sort of continue expanding, we'll almost have as many of those as I hope. But this is the way it's actually working, because the whole way forward to solve the situation that we've actually sort of got, which has been caused within conveyancing, is for people to work together, to collaborate. I don't know if there's a French for that, Gareth. I'm sure you'll tell me if there is. But
Collaboration.
okay, as Gareth says, we better let Sharon say something.
I want to say welcome to the happy throng, Sharon. I've known her for a while now, but it's so nice that she's coming to. As Hamish says, it's the fact that there's this non-compete collaboration between IPSA members that seems to make it stronger than any one member alone. Is that fair?
Oh my, it's so fair. Because I've just started and set up in a new area, you want to be offering a service to your clients that is nationwide. So it's just brilliant because we cover England and Wales. I can say Insight Property Searches covers England and Wales, but that's only because of the relationships that I've built with all the IPSA members. And I know them, I trust their, their dedication to their knowledge and to the reports and the accuracy that they provide. So if I get a search in, say Wales or Liverpool or Manchester, I'm giving that out to the best person who's going to give me the correct report. So it safeguards my reputation and everybody else's really. And it's just wonderful to be able to set up a business and not just say, oh, I can cover Cambridgeshire, Peterborough area, but I cover the whole of England and Wales, which we do. So it's wonderful.
And I just want to quickly make this point. Sharon may be new in her own right, but she's been involved in another property search company for many years.
Yes.
So, and this has enabled you to understand which people to approach and how to approach them. Now, when she turned up now in the new area that she's in, does it make it easier to promote yourself if you say, look, I'm countrywide. I'm not just
exactly. Yeah, because people, everybody moves to different places, and I'm sure in these local firms that I deal with, they do have local searches, but they might have some, and it's just great to say, oh, I can deal with that, and I deal with it the way I would deal with my own searches. I know that some search I get back from an IPSA member is just going to be 100% accurate. And obviously you have to pass a very stringent test to become an IPSA member, so which I had to go through myself recently when I joined. And it is checking that we all know what we're talking about, and they don't let everybody in.
No, but would you agree, Sharon, it's worth having that kind of stress test to make sure that the results are consistent? Because consistent knowledge and consistent capability.
Yeah,
right?
Local knowledge, local expertise, and that's what I promote, and that's what every IPSA member promotes. And we know from obviously I have been around for a few years, but going to the conferences and events, you meet all the other IPSA members, you strike up a relationship with them so that you trust them, and it's great. It's great support.
I was going to get to that. I know you've been to a number of the IPSA conferences, the members' days, and so on. What is it you get from that experience personally?
So personally, it's building, strengthening relationships so that we can farm out the work in a non-competitive way. Like you say, we're all there to help each other and support and help with problems with areas, but also it is the other parties that come and sponsor. The environmental people are a great support, because if you build relationships with them, they can help you, they can speak to your clients, they extend our product range. We can offer so much more. We've said on here many times, we're not just search providers, we're service providers, and we're here to support our clients, to offer them new things that come to the market, keep up to date of what is going on in the property market, what changes are coming our way in the home buying and selling reform. It just strengthens your knowledge. So what does that do for you? It makes you more reputable. You know what your clients are going through. You know if there's something that can help them, but also to build conversations with mortgage brokers, estate agents, and yeah, it's just brilliant. And to offer, commercial transactions, no commercial transaction is the same. We are not tied to one supplier. We look for the best report. So it's just brilliant. It's brilliant.
Now, Hamish, I've got a bone to pick with you. I believe it was you that started all these inroads in bringing in external sponsorship and so on.
No. Oh, Evans, no. That was actually going on before, because
Right.
there were a number of people who basically felt, oh, hang on, we've got some independent people here carrying out searches. I'm sure there can be some business from these particular sort of people. Now, that of course is always going to be the case, because that's to do with business.
Right.
However, what we've seen over the last few years is a change, and I'm not responsible for that. It's just the way life has gone, or if you like,
Well, it's been under
our knowledge has gone, because we have a tremendous.
It's been under your stewardship, so I'm afraid you're partly to blame. Go on.
All right, okay, but I was going to say, we have a tremendous chief executive who takes the IPSA name, the IPSA brand, and she actually works with a number of different discussion groups. So we have the recognition there as well.
Oh,
and it's understood now.
Heather lead, right?
Oh yes,
excellent.
Yes, as the chief. So we've reached this particular sort of situation. We're respected within the actual conveyancing community for what we actually do. We get speakers who come in, outside speakers who come in, who actually realize the value of what we do. But more importantly, we have actually brought in partners who have asked us and said, what can we do? Or how can we work together? Or others that have recognized that basically that we work with so much integrity that
Right.
if they, by working through us, that integrity that they have already is going to be maintained by working with us. And as Sharon said, because so many of us know each other so well, we've been actually sort of working together for a number of years now. Some of them it's a bit too long to remember, but however, it has been happening, has been going on. But this is the beauty of it. It's not just cooperative, if you like. It is whatever the French word is for the whole sort of collaboration that we actually sort of have with those partners whose products we can use, because we know we can approach the solicitor and say, are you all right with this particular sort of product? Are you all right with that particular product? Because if not, there's something we can do, and we can offer the same valuation that you've given. So you don't need to worry about your PI cover. It's well covered, because they're well covered, as well as our search is being sort of well covered. So they've got the integrity of our partnership that they can rely on, right, as well as the effect that we can actually sort of make to their businesses too.
I would say, and part of all this, dare I say it, is IPSA kind of magic. This very channel, our purpose, as far as I can see, is to spread the word that there is a collaboration there, and make it so that we shine a light back on the association itself.
Oh, exactly, because it is well worth shining the light. You notice it behind me. It's nearly always there, but it should have actually changed when we actually sort of changed pace. But that's another story. However, it is an important thing, because it does what we're trying to do with all of our podcasts is educational. But this one particularly is surrounded by IPSA membership. And of course, what we're going to be doing, we're going to be bringing on some of our partners as well over the next few weeks. I mean, what's been very interesting is to find out, and we could keep continuing that. There's any IPSA members who haven't joined in yet and told us what on earth they were doing before that was that bad that they had to move into the search industry. It would be good to speak to them, absolutely, get them on board. But at the same time, we're going to be working with many more of our sort of corporate members to actually to get the light shining on them as well.
Sharon, what kind of a person makes a good search agent?
First of all, time delivery, I think, makes a good search agent, but really the knowledge, the expertise, the in-depth, going that extra mile, looking not just within the vicinity of the plan, but what's going on behind. It's just dedication, and just, if you were the buyer, what would you want to know on that property, and just going that extra mile, refining the information. Don't give the conveyancer a load of information that isn't relevant to that property, but give them the relevant information. And yeah, just
does it pay to be a property nosy Parker?
yes. It does. You want to know what's going on, isn't it? You want to know. I think that's where we're going with all of this as well, isn't it? Upfront information, knowing a bit more about the property, so there's no surprises along the way. And as to what you said earlier, Hamish, about collaboration and people working with IPSA, and also IPSA being asked along to these discussion groups, because their knowledge and expertise is valued in this industry. So yeah, it does. That's what makes a great search agent.
Well, that's a goal achieved. And actually, reflecting back what Sharon said, Hamish, I've said this before, but I think it's never truer than it is today. It's not about all the information; it's about the right information. It's about the John Lewis effect, giving you the very best information, not the whole blooming plethora of it.
I think this is absolutely. I love the word plethora. It's a lovely word, isn't it? Runs off the tongue.
I had to shoehorn it in there. Sorry about
that. And there's this actually. I mean, it's quite interesting. I was speaking to somebody recently, and it was all to do with prices for searches, and they were asking us to do it for a ridiculous price. And I turned around and said, "Well, I can't do it for that ridiculous price, but here's an almost ridiculous price, but it will be unrefined, like the majority of the other information you receive.
Sure.
We'll just grab it and plonk it in there." And that's what they do at the call center type approach, the factory type of. They don't know the local area. So how are they going to refine it to a large extent? So that does make a significant difference.
Well, I think it's the difference between crude oil and petrol. You could try putting crude oil into your car, but I don't think it would go very far. But if you spend a bit of time, use a bit of ingenuity, and you work out the bits you actually need, what you get left is something that you can drive a car with. Now, you can't, in the same way, you could take all the information you get from everywhere, including the tree 100 yards in the wrong direction, and a parish church is on the wrong side of the railway lines. Any of that could be brought into this. Not all of it's relevant, and it takes skill, knowledge, and application to get there. Anyways, is this becoming less because of the digital age?
Actually, no. In reality, it's all the more important because people have been sold down the river, basically, about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
It is remarkably good and remarkably useful when used with the appropriate sort of software. However, it needs to be trained to work like a human. Now, it can't work like a human. It hasn't worn a human's moccasins into the streets of Oxford or the streets of Huntingdon.
Right.
So how on earth can it tell? All it can tell you is what somebody told them about it. And of course, that's going to be sort of could be a bit vague. It could be telling them also about the district that's sort of surrounding the area. But there are specifics that obviously a local authority specialist is going to know. And that is a difference. And as we're finding now, they're trying to use artificial intelligence, create unitary authority by bringing councils together. So we're losing the experts out of the local councils, yet we're still retaining them through the members of IPSA, who actually are still continuing. They've been working these places for some of them over 35 years, but certainly a good 20 years. Many of us have been working with all those different sort of councils. So even though they're combined together, and we've lost that local knowledge from the land charges officer, who's actually being swallowed up or sent elsewhere, it is much more. It is a very good point, actually, Gareth. It is actually in no way going to sort of be something which is sort of overloaded, because the refined work needs to be done. And also,
I was actually thinking, Hamish, suddenly occurred to me in a bizarre kind of way. And by the way, I don't refer to it as artificial intelligence. I refer to it as almost intelligent, because it's like the Timu version of an intelligent conversation, isn't it? It looks like it will cut the fruit. It seems like it'll cut the fruit. It's the right color, but when you try and cut it, it's like there's certain bits missing, or you thought it was fruit, and in fact, it's a baseball. And the point about it is that humans are the ones that can actually check as they go to make sure they're on the right path, whereas AI tends to take what you said, run like hell with it, and just hope it ends up in the right direction.
Yeah, you need an expert eye to put
And in many ways, Hamish, this might be the boom time for IPSA members. I'll tell you why. The searches may become harder and more irritating, but only a human will be able to find the local knowledge, because now they've got all these unitary authorities, Hamish, all these experts, all the people who had got all the information and learned all where everything was kept. They're all gone. They've been cast to the four winds.
I do actually recollect there's a couple of very good indicators here. It was, funnily enough, it was Basingstoke. We're doing a search for Basingstoke, and it came up on the information that we've been able to extract. Now, sometimes we can't actually grab the information ourselves. We are given the information by the local authority, and we were given this information. It was suggested it was sitting on contaminated land. Now, there's very few properties that are sitting on contaminated land. So I actually phoned up and spoke to land charges. I said, "Oh, well, if we were carrying out one of our searches, we wouldn't have put it in there, because it's part of a farmyard, and 2 miles down the road, the other end of where the farmhouse used to be, there used to be a cesspit." Oh, thank you very much. So that obviously was not contaminated land, any more than when we get information coming through on a new development, it starts to tell you the opening hours of a Tesco's 2 miles down the road as well. I mean, who the hell needs that? Because it's within walking distance, but you probably found that anywhere where all the local shops and things are. But the great thing is, with the partners we work with, there's some incredible reports they do. I mean, we can do the basics, that, the fundamentals, and then we can add in all of these. So the picture is a hologram almost that we actually sort of create, but an accurate hologram, with all the nasty bits as well, if you like. But there's everything included in it. Whereas what the unrefined work is just splodge. Here you go, solicitor. You have a little play with that and see what you can come up with.
Well, look, it's, as ever, illuminating conversation. Lovely having you back, Sharon. Don't be a stranger. And wonderful. Hamish, would you care to take us home?
Well, I think we're pretty well there, to be quite honest, because, I mean, Sharon brought out some interesting sort of aspects there, because, if you like, being part of a collective, which she was certainly, and has been for a number of years anyway, but just taking a step sort of sideways and to come back in, she's been able to read aspects that us that have been around for too long possibly forget what it's like, because we've been in that sort of length of time, and therefore we can actually be seen, because we are independent personal search agents, and Sharon has her independent sort of company there, and she's solely independent. However, she's got people she can rely on, and I've got people I can rely on, and we all have people we can rely on, and so too can our partners. They know by putting their work with our work, they're going to get a much better picture for their particular sort of clients, and our clients as well.
I've always held up that IPSA is one of the purest definitions of all tides rise, all ships. And it's the very working together, the internal mechanisms of IPSA are designed so that everyone benefits. And in these times when hallucinations aren't just mental health patients, but also AI as well. Reliance on it means that you often need someone who is going to go the extra mile, going to dig in deep and find out whether that information is really needed or whether or not you need to be swamped with a bunch of pointless rubbish. Thank you once again. And it's very true. It's all very well having all the information, but if there's swathes of it everywhere, another good word, you sometimes find you can't see the wood for the trees. So you need experts to create that John Lewis effect, so you end up with the right information that enables you to make the right decision. Thank you once again, Hamish, for bringing such an important point to light, and Sharon for both showing your own life path and also backing this up. And to all of you out there, please don't be a stranger. If you're an IPSA member, come on. There's nothing to stop you. But Sharon, once you got in, the water's lovely, wasn't
it? Exactly. Been a couple of times now. It's fine.
There we go. You see, we're friendly here. Remember, we've got more property podcasting magic coming up tomorrow. We've got the bun fight that is Property Quorum. You, me, and everyone else will wonder what's going to happen next and what we'll talk about. And on Friday, we've got Cladding Matters, which is an interesting one. An edict, an ultimatum was put out that shall come to pass at 1 o'clock on Friday. So I suggest you're there to see what happens. Greenwich Council have stated there's nothing to see here, when in fact in their own writings they've written that certain buildings were not up to code when they were built, and now they're saying that's not the case. And we are asking them to row back on their previous untrue statements, say what is true, and that way we'll be able to move on. So far, they've denied us. Let's see what happens. Do come along and watch out. 1 o'clock on Friday. But to all of you, please, thank you so much for being part of what is our property podcasting journey. Lots more to come. Remember, watch out. The sun is quite variable, so wear some sunscreen. Make sure you hydrate. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars and look after that mental health. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Local skill with national connection. Independent, but never alone. IPSA, where your professional home.